Naruto's Strongest Force Chapter 1. Naruto, the Strongest Force Author, Burning Hand. Introduction. Uchiha Natsuki obtains the power system, revives Uchiha, and creates the strongest force in the ninja world. Exclude me, Uchiha. Sorry, we quit. Whoever the garrison likes will go. Kakashi, Danzo was the mastermind behind White Fang's death and was connived by the third generation. You actually worked for Konoha. Itachi, this time I will awaken the eternal kaleidoscope for you. Bye, your actual combat ability is too weak. Please enter the Tsukiyomi space to practice for a few years. Sorry, we Uchiha have kaleidoscope per capita. Who can fight in a group fight these days? Get on my shoulder. Otsutsuki is coming to destroy the world, but you are still striving to be Hokage. There is something wrong with you. Danzo, we must not allow Uchiha to gain power. Sir, Uchiha Fugaku has resigned from his position as captain of the Konoha Guard. Third generation, the position of Hokage will never be given to you as Uchiha. Hokage-sama, Uchiha has withdrawn from the Hokage campaign. Sir. Uchiha has established his own country. What? It's not rare for us Uchiha to use a Hokage as a treasure. Let's wait and use him as a target. P.S. Hizashi did not die simply because he wanted Niji to have a father. Chapter 1 Coup, Death of Shisui. Konoha 55, in the woods outside Konoha village. Tread. 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 The sound of dense footsteps came. Natsuki Uchiha led his team members and rushed to the village. Captain. Slow down. The mission is completed and you are still so anxious. Could it be that you want to do a new mission? The teammates who have been left behind let out bursts of wailing. His captain doesn't know what happened, but he seems to be a different person after he was injured a few months ago. He often goes to see the clan leader and does crazy tasks. I just came back from Kawa no Kuni and wanted to rest for a night. Unexpectedly, in the afternoon, Captain Natsuki suddenly said that he wanted to rush back to Konoha, so he rushed back like crazy. Except for his faster movement, the other two teammates can no longer even see their shadows. Fortunately, this is the outskirts of Konoha village, otherwise it would be dangerous to encounter enemies. Ding, I encountered a plot, a coup, and Shisui's death. Natsuki is rushing to the clan in a hurry. He met Shisui's death not even half a year after crossing over. I was already prepared to do more tasks, but after I got to know myself, I defected and found a place to hang out. Anyway, he is just a jounin, and the problem of saving the world is left to Indra and Azura. When Otsutsuki's comes, the world will be destroyed when it's time to destroy it. Unexpectedly, after just becoming familiar with the body's functions, the golden finger suddenly arrived. If he had a golden finger, Xiaomu wouldn't be sleepy anymore. Who can control his own destiny? There is a saying, if you are poor, your corpse will be laid out, if you are rich, your coffin will be raised. This world is full of regrets. I am coming. Now, after the third ninja war, the entire ninja world is in chaos. There are also a lot of various tasks. In the past 3 months, Xiaomu had barely survived, and with a little bit of luck, he had mastered all the skills of his original self. Natsuki only delayed a little at the door of Konoha, and within a few minutes, he nailed the mission completion certificate to the mission window. Xiaomu finally heard the sound of the system as he wished. Ding, the system loading is complete. The strongest force system creates the strongest force for the host. The initial mission has been updated, rescue Shisui. Mission requirements, Shisui survives. Reward, Mangekyo Sharingan I power. Gift package for newbies has been sent. Acting Elder of Uchiha, an Elder of Uchiha has passed away. Due to your recent outstanding performance, you have been granted the position of Acting Elder. To a certain extent, he can influence Uchiha Fugaku's thoughts. Xiaomu rushed to the clan while looking at this gift package for newbies. That's it. Too stingy. Not to mention the human body of the reincarnated Iferi, at least you can directly create a kaleidoscope. There are still tasks to do. The status of acting elder is of no use. Even the system is not intelligent. Bad review. Bad review. Bad review. Alas, complaints are complaints. You still have to live, right? It's better than nothing. Natsuki sorted out Uchiha's current situation. It has been more than 4 years since the Nine-Tails Rebellion. In the past few years, the village's suspicion of the Uchiha clan has become increasingly serious, and they have restricted Uchiha in all aspects. And the police department is the place that offends the most people, the Uchiha people who are arrogant by nature. I often have disputes with people, and the complaints are like snowflakes in winter, every day. But this is not the most terrible thing. The most terrible thing is Uchiha Shisui, the strongest Uchiha at present. It has been brainwashed by Konoha and should have had its eyes taken away by Danzo by now. And he didn't think about how to think about his family. In order to calm the situation, he innocently committed suicide. A great opportunity for Uchiha to rise was wasted. After his efforts failed, all the pressure was put on Itachi. Let Itachi's thoughts completely go to the other extreme, and he will raise the butcher's knife against his clansmen in 2 years' time. In Uchiha Natsuki's view, Fugaku was not qualified at all as a clan leader. He has always been swayed by the will of his tribe and has never made any good decisions. After all, under the design of the second-generation Tobirama, Uchiha, as a law enforcer, had long had deep grudges with other ninjas in the village. It is impossible to win the position of Hokage, and the vote of confidence will not pass. So much time and energy invested in fighting for power and gain is all in vain. After the Nine-Tails Rebellion, Konoha's suspicion of the Uchiha clan became even more serious. Surveillance and suppression abound. But the proud Uchiha will never lower his head. The people of the Eagle faction are constantly running for this purpose. Now that Uchiha and Konoha are in conflict, Fugaku has to worry about many reasons. Judging by the time, Shisui should be being chased by the roots now. If Shisui cannot be saved, his life will begin to count down. After all, except for the Hokage line, Obito doesn't want the Uchiha clan alive. When the time comes, there will be no other option but to defect to Konoha. On top of the high tower outside Uchiha, the ANBU wearing a mask was looking at the Uchiha clan through the telescope. Report to the third generation that the Uchiha clan's gathering has been held and everything is normal at the moment. Yes. The figure behind him disappeared in a flash. In the Hokage's office, the Sandaime Hokage and Sarutobi Hiruzen were smoking their pipes. As a shinobu hero, he could not withstand the baptism of time. He could feel that his strong body was already declining. But there was no way, the fourth generation died suddenly, and only if he came out again could the situation in Konoha be stabilized. He waved the ANBU who had just reported down. Assembly. Fugaku, I hope you won't disappoint me. Shisui, it's up to you. I'm afraid my left eye has also become his target. Before that, I entrust this eye to you. The only person I can entrust to you is you, my best friend. You must protect this village and protect the name of Uchiha. If I die, the situation will definitely change. I have already written a suicide note. Don't stop me, Itachi, if you're my friend. Shisui. When Xiaomu stepped into the ancestral hall, it was true that there was already a row inside. The fourth elder said to Fugaku who had his eyes closed. Clan leader, our police department has been receiving more and more complaints, and the major ninja clans are also criticizing us. If this continues, the relationship between Uchiha and Konoha will only get worse and worse. The fourth elder is a standard dove, and he handles complaints from the police department. Therefore, we have the best say in the growing number of complaints. Fugaku closed his eyes and said nothing, but the third elder next to him took over. It's getting worse, so what? Naruto's Strongest Force Chapter 2. We have been ostracized since the Nine-Tails Rebellion, and there are people spying on us Uchiha everywhere. It has become more and more serious in the past few years. Isn't the tower outside our clan just built to monitor us Uchiha? Chief, it's time to make a decision. The fourth elder said sternly, Uchiha Takuya. What are you talking about? Do you want a coup? The third elder sneered, coup? Konoha was founded by Uchiha and Senju together. Not to mention the Hokage, there is not even an Uchiha in the elders. What else does our Uchiha have the right to say besides the security team? Others started talking after hearing what the third elder said. Most people agree. Yes. We need a voice, we need rights. Lord Patriarch. Please give the order. The fourth elder was extremely anxious. Usually his biggest supporter was Uchiha Shisui, but today Shisui was not there. Fugaku didn't know what it meant. He hesitated to speak. Chapter 2 Rescue Shisui. Fugaku opened his eyes suddenly, and everyone followed his gaze. Only then did he realize that it was Natsuki Uchiha who had arrived at the shrine. Xiaomu didn't know how the identity of the acting elder was implanted. Now that he is back, for the sake of his own life, he still bites the bullet and walks in front of Fugaku. Fugaku said, Natsuki, now that you are the acting elder, you also have the right to speak. I want to hear what you have to say. Explanation. Xiaomu was stunned for a moment. That's nonsense. Shisui is being hunted right now, and you're still having a hammer meeting. Natsuki said angrily. Damn it, the knife holder is still grinding here and there on the neck. Fugaku turned around sharply. Natsuki, are you telling the truth? Natsuki nodded. There is no time to explain. Kai, Guangdo, Yuta, you take your team members and follow me. Quan. Follow me too. I may need your treatment then. Shisui has a gentle temper and has many good friends in the clan. Natsuki ordered those who have good personal relationships with Shisui. Several people suddenly stood up and ran outside with Xiaomu. Fugaku sat in the first place with a gloomy expression. The third elder and the fourth elder no longer wanted to argue. Although the fourth elder belongs to the Dove faction, he is not someone who will not resist even if a knife is placed on his neck. Fugaku was silent for a long time, and then slowly exhaled. Uchiha Takuya. Fugaku shouted. Yes. The third elder was excited. This is his name. His seniority is higher than Fugaku. At other times, he must be called the third elder. But once Fugaku calls his name, it means that Fugaku will act as the clan leader. You come and mobilize all Uchiha combat members. Get ready for battle. The third elder looked stern, as if he had smelled the smell of blood. Nanha River. Plop. The water splashed everywhere, and the cold river water made Uchiha Shisui wake up for a moment. But he was seriously injured, and he was still thinking about his family. Can his own death change everything? Can Itachi fulfill his instructions? Shisui's world gradually darkened, and his body gradually sank into the rushing Nanha River. Found it. Elder. Shisui is here. There was a sound, and two Uchiha jumped into the water and fished out the unconscious Shisui. Elder. Shisui's eyes were gouged out. Natsuki had already expected it. Quan, Shisui will be treated and checked immediately. We must let Shisui survive. Uchiha Izumi immediately stepped forward to treat Shisui. Because of Itachi's relationship, she was also Shisui's friend. Uchiha Izumi was greatly shocked when he saw Shisui covered in wounds. Shisui is a master in the clan, but he was injured like this, and his Sharingan was even dug out. This was in Konoha village. Time was short and there was no time to call other medical ninjas. Uchiha Natsuki still remembered that Uchiha Izumi knew medical ninjutsu. Under emergency treatment, Shisui finally stabilized his vital signs. Ding, the rescue of Shisui has been completed. The host obtains the Manjikyu Sharingan I power and unlocks Susanoo in advance. Xiaomu finally breathed a sigh of relief. You must know that he rushed back from outside the village and ran all the way. He hadn't rested for half a day. Finally, Shisui's life was saved. The improvement of strength is also the guarantee of life. Take kaleidoscope first. After clicking to receive, a cold breath flowed into Uchiha Natsuki's eyes. Is this the Yin escape chakra? Unlock Susanoo in advance. I still don't know what the pupil technique is. The Uchiha who came together to rescue Shisui, after gathering together, saw Shisui's empty eye sockets, and they all exploded together. To this day, anyone who dares to stroke Uchiha's tiger beard is simply a shame and a great humiliation. You bastard! How dare you are Uchiha's eyes! You actually hurt Shisui like this, I will never let him go. Elder! Who attacked Shisui? As Xiaomu's pupil power increased, his perception also increased. He turned his head sharply and looked at the woods behind his tribe. There was a rapid sound of rushing through the forest, and in the blink of an eye, 4 ANBU dressed in white rushed out of the forest. As soon as an ANBU in white rushed out of the woods, he saw a large group of Uchiha standing by the river. The target he was looking for was lying on the ground being treated. But why are there so many Uchiha people nearby? The man made a tactical gesture and asked the 3 ANBU behind him to stop. Root! All Uchiha's eyes were dazzled. What was this organization doing? Uchiha knew very well. The Uchihas guessed it almost instantly. Shisui must be being hunted by the roots. They all pulled out their knives and rushed towards the root. Captain Northeast by East, who was at the head of the queue, felt his heart sink. Among the more than 10 Uchiha clansmen, 3 were elites with the 3 Magatama Sharingan. I'm afraid I won't be able to increase the number of people. Danzo-sama's will must be carried out. The team leader made a gesture, and the team members behind him also looked determined. The 4 of them advanced instead of retreating, charging towards the Uchiha. The 4 people kept crossing formations, making it difficult to see their intentions. Several people quickly approached. Art Fire escaped Fireball. The 2 Uchiha formed seals quickly. Before engaging in combat, launch a feint attack with a massive fireball. With the help of flames, the figure quickly approached. The other Uchiha also threw shurikens. Earth Escape, Earth Flow Wall. Gen quickly joined forces to raise the earth wall, blocking Go's fireball jutsu and shurikens. 4 people hid behind the wall. When he jumped out again, he threw out 10 detonating charms. Boom! 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 An explosion at such a close range would basically damage the enemy by 1000 and damage yourself by 800. The Uchiha clan members emerged from the smoke in a somewhat embarrassed state. I didn't expect the roots to be so desperate. Several roots also felt uncomfortable. They were closer and suffered more damage from the explosion. 4 of them rushed out with wounds. Almost suicidal. At this time, Gen's team leader was cut into smoke by Uchiha's sword. Oh no, Shadow Clone. Bump. The ground exploded, roots jumped out of it, and the detonating symbols all over his body sizzled. He rushed towards Shisui lying on the ground with determination. Let's die together. At this time, only Izumi and Natsuki were standing next to Shisui, and the other Uchiha had no time to come back to help. Boom! The huge explosion blew away all the other Uchiha clan members. Elder! Elder! When the smoke and dust dispersed, a golden skeleton was seen, firmly protecting Shisui and Izumi behind him. The surging chakra spread out in all directions like a whirlwind. Natsuki stood with his arms folded on his chest, the Mangekyo Sharingan in his eyes slowly turning. Susanoo. It's Susanoo, our Uchiha legend. The elder is the Mangekyo Sharingan. Gundam is really handsome, Shimu nodded with satisfaction. If only it were an eternal kaleidoscope without blindness. Natsuki still cherished Hitomi, and when he saw that the danger was over, he immediately closed the Mangekyo Sharingan. His pupil power had just been improved, and he hadn't had time to understand his pupil technique yet. Fortunately, he had unlocked Susanoo in advance. At this time, the Uchiha combat members in the clan gradually gathered. The hawkish Uchiha all looked enthusiastic, running towards each other, bringing their own equipment and wearing combat uniforms. Naruto's Strongest Force Chapter 3. The 4th Elder, Uchiha Hinata, has a dry mouth. I wonder how many Uchiha clan members will die tonight. Can we really succeed? The Uchiha clan members of the Dove faction are all a little confused, and they are still worried at the thought of a possible fight with the village. The 3rd Elder, Uchiha Takuya, could not suppress the excitement on his face. Clan leader, the combat members have been assembled. Please give the order, clan leader. Fugaku clasped his hands tightly. We'll wait for Elder Shimu to come back first. Konoha should have taken some action by this time, right? Chapter 3 Using Rebellion as a Code. As Uchiha Fugaku expected, news spread when Uchiha just started mobilizing. Not to mention that the high-rise buildings around the Uchiha station are all Umbu people. The third Hokage silently put down his pipe. What is the situation now? The Anbu lowered his head and reported, all combatants of the Uchiha clan are gathering. Uchiha Natsuki and the 13 Jonin are missing. Uchiha Shisui is missing. Uchiha Itachi is missing. Sandai was silent, he really didn't want to come to this point. It seems that Shisui failed, or... Sighing, Sandai made a decision and his expression became determined. He took off his Hokage robe, and there was already a combat uniform underneath. Pass the order, the entire Konoha is in a state of emergency, notify all ninja clan leaders, gather all Jounin, elite Jounin. Surround the Uchiha clan for me. Tap tap tap. The sound of dense footsteps came from the roof, and one ninja after another passed over the residential houses. Normally this is a very rude thing, but the Hokage had just issued an order and the entire Konoha was in a state of emergency. So the rooftops of Konoha village were full of leaping ninjas, and civilians were hiding at home. Another wealthy family in Konoha, the most powerful Hyuga family, Hizashi and Hizashi, led the elites of the clan to the Uchiha clan. Hizashi couldn't help but ask Hizashi, brother, is the Uchiha clan really rebelling? Rizu frowned, call me clan leader outside. Hizashi was silent for a moment, yes, clan leader. Hizu paused and softened his tone, Sandaime asked us to gather and surround Uchiha. It may be a fierce battle tonight. Rizu is full of worries, as long as there is civil strife, it will kill people. Besides, Uchiha is the largest clan in the ninja world. All Uchiha are all-rounders, and most of them are crazy. Hizu looked back and saw more than 20 Jounin following him. I don't know how much I can go back to after tonight, this is the heritage of the family. Hizashi, if a fight breaks out soon, hold down the clan members and don't take the lead. Where's the Sandaime? Hizu waved his hand, if Uchiha is destroyed, it may be our turn next. Hizashi was startled, looked around, and then nodded silently. Danzo-sama, the third Hokage declared Konoha to be in a state of emergency and issued a summons order for all Jounin and above personnel to gather to prepare for war. Do we join the war? Oh. Danzo just woke up after undergoing eye replacement surgery. What happened? All Uchiha combat personnel are gathering. Danzo stood up and touched his newly replaced right eye. It seems that Uchiha can be completely destroyed tonight. How many Uchiha eyes can be harvested tonight? Hiruzen, I told you a long time ago that Uchiha couldn't believe it. Fortunately, I struck first and destroyed Uchiha Shisui. Take our people and rush to the Uchiha clan immediately. Yes. The gate of the Uchiha clan was already brightly lit, and countless Konoha elites had surrounded the Uchiha. Standing in front are the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, Koharu, and Mito Katanen. Behind them are the clan leaders and elites of various wealthy ninja clans. People from various major families, including Hinata, Akimichi, Nara, and Yamamon, were all present. Basically all the Anbu and elite Jounin in Konoha are gathered here, surrounded by 3 layers of inner and outer layers surrounding Uchiha. Everyone had a solemn look on their face. The chiefs of the major clans have their own thoughts. Creak, the huge wooden door of the Uchiha clan opened. Hundreds of Uchiha tribesmen, fully armed, slowly walked out of the door under the leadership of Fugaku. For a moment, everyone's eyes moved to Fugaku's face, with different expressions, but everyone felt surprised. Fugaku, who is usually at odds with each other, what happened today? The tribesmen behind Fugaku made a commotion when they saw so many Konoha elites outside the gate. But seeing that his clan leader didn't speak, his voice gradually faded away. The atmosphere seemed to be stagnant for a moment. At this time, a messenger bird flew from the sky. Fugaku took a look at the message from it, with infinite murderous intent in his eyes, and then calmed down. Fugaku remained calm under the gaze of Sandai, his eyes still searching left and right. Seeing that Danzo did not arrive, he narrowed his eyes slightly. Hokage-sama, I don't know why you are surrounding our Uchiha clan. The third Hokage frowned. Fugaku. You have gathered so many Uchiha people, and you are still asking us. What do you want to do? Uchiha Fugaku's expression was different from before, and he had no respect for the third Hokage at all. What do I want to do? Uchiha Shisui disappeared after going out today. We are going out to look for Shisui now. What's the problem? The third Hokage frowned. He thought about Fugaku's countless excuses, but he didn't expect Fugaku to say this. And as far as he knew, Shisui was indeed missing, and the third Hokage didn't know what to say for a while. At this time, Mito Kaduin next to the third generation spoke, that's nonsense. You Uchiha Shisui has disappeared, are you going to gather the whole clan? Do you think we are fools? Fugaku said nothing. At this time, the crowd in Konoha dispersed, and Danzo Shimura arrived. His forehead, right eye, right shoulder and right hand were all wrapped in bandages as before. Uchiha Fugaku, I think you Uchiha just want to rebel tonight. When Fugaku saw Danzo appearing, a hint of murderous intent flashed in his eyes. He said in a deep voice, Shimura Danzo, do you still dare to appear in front of me? Itachi reported to me that Uchiha Shisui disappeared after being recruited by you this afternoon. Do you dare to say that this matter has nothing to do with you? Itachi, who was hiding in the crowd, frowned. He hadn't reported it to his father. Danzo had a cold face, it turned out that Itachi was not reliable either. Then he angrily yelled, that's nonsense. I haven't seen Shisui this afternoon at all. What you're saying is all slander. Fugaku smiled coldly, really? Chakra surged all over Fugaku's body, and his eyes became colder. The surrounding ninjas were nervous. While the crowd was still commotion, a road separated behind them, and Uchiha Natsuki walked in with a group of Uchiha tribesmen. Ding! The mission has been updated, the ending of the coup. Mission requirement, protect all Uchiha people from dying in the coup. Task reward, I-Technique Amplifier X1 Uchiha Deputy Chief. It's too late to see the reward. Since the mission requirement is to protect all clan members, no force can be used tonight. Xiaomu was alone in front, with sharp eyes. The Uchiha behind him said nothing, and occasionally looked up at Natsuki with eyes full of enthusiasm and admiration. Two of them were carrying a stretcher, and lying on it was Uchiha Shisui. Several other people were dragging the bodies of several root members in their hands. Several corpses were scarred and damaged. The third Hokage said with a sullen face, Fugaku, what do you mean? Uchiha Natsuki brought the person back to the clan, turned to look at the third Hokage, and directly blocked the Fugaku clan leader behind him. Natsuki sneered, Sandame, you are still playing riddles at this time. Danzo summoned Shisui away this afternoon to steal his Sharingan. We sent out the whole clan to find Shisui because he was missing. What's the problem? Then he possessed Jisui and said something in his ear, and Jisui struggled to get up. The countless injuries on his body can be seen by anyone with a discerning eye. The most serious thing is that his eyes are two holes, and the Sharingan was dug out. There was a commotion from the surrounding ninja clan. Danzo is planning to steal Shisui's Sharingan. Shut up, Danzo is the Hokage's assistant, don't talk nonsense. Shisui said weakly, I received a message from Danzo this evening, asking me to go see him. I didn't expect that he coveted the Sharingan of our Uchiha clan and took away my Sharingan when I wasn't prepared. The third Hokage was very familiar with Shisui, and even reported to him this afternoon that he wanted to use other gods to prevent the Uchiha coup. I didn't expect that the goodbye would turn out like this. Danzo's face was gloomy when Shisui stood up, and he didn't say a word. He didn't know what he was thinking. Everyone present was in an uproar and looked at Danzo with suspicion. It would be a life-or-death feud in the ninja world to seize one's bloodline, let alone a fellow villager. Shisui is known as Shunshin Shisui. He made countless contributions to Konoha during the Third Ninja War and is a genius of Uchiha. Uchiha Shisui's reputation has always been very good, and what he says is very credible. Chapter 4 Countermeasures, Part 1. The third generation frowned. He knew Shirsue's character. For the sake of peace, even if he encountered such a thing, he would not say it in public. What happened to Shirsue? In fact, it was just Natsuki telling him in Shirsue's ear that if Shirsue lied, the Uchiha clan would immediately rebel. If Shirsue told the truth, he promised that there would be no rebellion tonight. Danzo's face changed slightly, and then he said calmly, I didn't want to provoke a dispute between Uchiha and the village, but the matter is over. I did summon Shirsue this evening, but Shirsue wanted to assassinate me today, but I saw through it and I was forced to fight back. Natsuki looked at Danzo with a mocking look on his face. Are you planning to fool ghosts by saying this? Danzo was furious. You are just an acting elder, what qualifications do you have to talk to me here? Fugaku listened to the report from the Uchiha members in the back. Elder Natsuki opened the Mangekyo Sharingan, with shock and joy in his eyes. There has been no strong man with the Mangekyo Sharingan in the clan for many years. Naruto's Strongest Force Chapter 4. Besides, Natsuki is still so young. Fugaku raised his head and said loudly, Elder Danzo, Elder Natsuki did a great job in rescuing Shirsue today. I have named him Deputy Clan Leader. Are you qualified now? The Uchiha behind him were all commotion. Why did Elder Natsuki suddenly become the Deputy Clan Leader? Then he felt that the clan leader was supporting Elder Shemu, so he became quiet again. Danzo thought Fugaku was supporting Natsuki and snorted coldly. It's true that Shirsue wanted to assassinate me today, and my roots can prove it. Everyone present was not a human being, and no one knew what Danzo was like. If Shirsue really assassinated him, he would have reported it to the third generation, and would he still act stupid as soon as he came? Natsuki laughed. It is true that Elder Danzo wanted to assassinate the third Hokage today, and all Uchiha can testify. The Uchiha tribesmen behind burst into laughter. Yes. I bear witness. I testify too. I testify too. The surrounding ninjas suppressed their laughter and turned their heads. Sandai's expression changed, and he understood what was probably going on, but he still coughed. Now that Shirsue has been found, Natsuki, the deputy clan leader, this is just a misunderstanding. Let everyone leave. Misunderstand. Uchiha Natsuki turned around faster than turning the pages of a book. The third Hokage. Shirsue's Sharingan is still with Danzo. Are you telling me about a misunderstanding? Danzo snorted coldly. Shirsue failed to assassinate, is it now framed? Natsuki didn't even look at Danzo, and turned around to give Fugaku a wink. Then he said in a stern voice, the third Hokage. Are you, the Hokage family, openly trying to steal the Sharingan of our Uchiha clan? Uchiha Fugaku understood Natsuki's eyes and said solemnly, Sarutobi Hiruzen. Shirsue's Sharingan is not returned. I, the Uchiha clan, will never give up. All the Uchiha clan members behind Fugaku silently opened their Sharingan. For a moment, countless eyes looked towards the third Hokage. The third Hokage's face was as dark as the bottom of a pot, and he scolded Danzo's whole family from the bottom of his heart. The good things you have done will now have to be paid for by the whole of Konoha. Danzo, hand over Shirsue's Sharingan immediately. Danzo twitched the corner of his mouth. He had no idea that things would develop to this point. But he was still making the final struggle. I did have a conflict with Shirsue, but I really didn't take his Sharingan. Natsuki narrowed his eyes slightly, and then took out a kunai. The third Hokage said solemnly, Natsuki, calm down. But Natsuki slowly placed the kunai on his Konoha forehead protector. If the kunai is drawn down, then he will be a traitor to Konoha. Natsuki shouted to all the ninja clan, everyone in Konoha is watching. This is the oppression of our ninja clan by the top management of Konoha. They will seek to seize your blood inheritance, secret skills, property. Hinata, the next one is you. All the ninjas present are the elites and pillars of the family, and some are simply the clan leaders. Their faces are quite ugly. The Hyuga clan even caused a commotion. After all, their Byakugan is also the blood successor famous in the entire ninja world. Both Hizu and Hizashi had sinking faces, watching coldly how the third generation dealt with it. The Sandaime Hokage was furious. If a ninja was forced to rebel like this, the entire ninja world would see the Hokage's joke. No family will trust the Hokage line anymore. This is digging into the roots of the Hokage line. Sarutobi Hiruzen, listen. Now. Immediately. Hand over Shirsue's Sharingan immediately. Otherwise, we Uchiha and Konoha will be dead. This is what you Konoha forced us to do. Uchiha Natsuki's expression was ferocious, and he was hysterical, like a madman. The third Hokage was cold all over. The Uchiha clan could rebel, but they could never be forced to rebel. If he orders action today, the Uchiha clan will be destroyed and Konoha will fall apart. No ninja would serve under someone who coveted their own property. All the ninjas surrounding Uchiha now had no intention of fighting, and looked at Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen with cold eyes. Especially the Hyuga clan, because if the Uchiha clan falls, the Hyuga clan must be next. Although other ninjas do not have Sharingan and Byakugan, they more or less have some family property and secret techniques. Since Uchiha's Sharingan will be taken away, theirs can't be saved either. The third Hokage sighed, in view of Danzo's wrong behavior. Dismiss Danzo Shimura from his position as Hokage's assistant. Danzo, immediately hand over Shirsue's Sharingan. Danzo was a little in disbelief, his eyes were as gloomy as a poisonous snake. Sarutobi. The Uchiha clan cannot be trusted at all. Shirsue's Sharingan is too harmful, I will never hand over the Sharingan. That's enough. Danzo. I am the Hokage. Danzo gritted his teeth, okay, I'll hand over the Sharingan right away when I get back. The third Hokage turned his head, Natsuki, is it okay? Natsuki sneered, up until now, Danzo, you are still playing tricks on me. Shirsue's eyes are clearly on you. What did you get back? Danzo's expression changed and he was about to defend himself. Natsuki waved his hand, stop quibbling, our Uchiha family has a secret technique, and Shirsue's eye is in your right eye. Danzo looked ugly. He really didn't know that the Uchiha family had such a secret technique. If he had known it, he wouldn't have come. Now he is completely helpless. Under everyone's gaze. Danzo had no choice but to grit his teeth and untie the bandage on his right eye, and there was a Sharingan inside. The ninja clan was in an uproar. The top brass of their village, the Hokage assistant, actually tried to steal Uchiha's Sharingan. And he immediately put it in his eyes. Of course, the Uchiha clan does not have this kind of secret technique, but Natsuki determined that Danzo would definitely install it directly on his eye after getting Shirsue's right eye. Even if it's not Shirsue's eye, Danzo's right eye is also the Sharingan. Danzo was now filled with hatred and anger, but he had offended the public, and all the ninjas looked at him with unkind expressions. Who knows whether Danzo will be plotting against his own family next time. Chapter 5 Countermeasures, Part 2. Under the cold gaze of Uchiha Natsuki, the third Hokage quickly sent a medical ninja to remove the Sharingan from Danzo's eyes. Fugaku waved his hand and sent someone to take Shirsue's right eye and bring it back to Izumi's hand next to Shirsue. Let her confirm for Shirsue if those are his eyes. At this time, Uchiha Itachi silently walked out of the crowd and stood next to Shirsue. He had been back since the beginning of the family gathering, but when Fugaku spoke before, he did not stand up. He wanted to see what his father was planning to do and blocked the road to the Hokage. Did he want to return to the family? Is the family really going to rebel tonight? Just when he was at a loss, the development of the story completely deviated from his imagination. Unexpectedly, my father was just acting as a foil this time and let Elder Xiaomu handle the matter with full authority. But now it seems that my father was right, and Elder Xiaomu handled the matter very well. Natsuki glanced at Itachi, then turned to Danzo and said, "Where's Shirsue's left eye?" Uchiha Itachi stood nearby and moved the corners of his mouth, but did not speak. He even pressed down Shirsue who wanted to speak. Danzo was furious, "Natsuki, don't go too far. I only got Shirsue's right eye. I don't know where his left eye is." Fugaku and Natsuki both looked at the third Hokage, meaning, "It's up to you." The third Hokage sighed, "Danzo, hand over Shirsue's left eye." "I." Danzo was so angry that his whole body was shaking. But now that the mud has fallen into the crotch, it is either or shit. You said you didn't dig out Shirsue's left eye, who would believe it? The left eye is not on my body. Danzo had no choice but to hold his nose and recognize it. Of course Uchiha Natsuki knew that Shirsue's left eye was in Itachi's hand. He did this originally to gain some benefits for the Uchiha clan. At this time, Shirsue sensed it with chakra and determined that it was his right eye, so he transplanted the eye back. Shirsue went through many battles, gouging out his eyes, pretending to have them, and after the operation, he fell into a deep sleep. Uchiha Itachi was silent beside him. Shirsue kept running for the peace of his family and the village, but was attacked by Danzo. And his father, who has never been strong, actually broke with the village openly for Shirsue. In his opinion, Elder Shimu was the microphone that was pushed out. His father must have let Elder Shimu handle it because he didn't want to break up with the village. Ding, congratulations to the host for changing Itachi Uchiha's mind and greatly changing Itachi's life. The host obtains, I Technique, Tsukuyumi X1, I Technique, Amaterasu X1. Ding, congratulations to the host for greatly changing Uchiha Fugaku's life. The host obtains, I Technique, Illusion X2. Oh. Life-changing access to their skills. Unfortunately it can only be used once. Are both of Fugaku's eyes actually Genjutsu eyes? So it can be used twice. That's the same as Shirsue. But the effect is not as good as other gods. Ding, the ending of the coup is complete. The host obtains the Pupil Technique Amplifier X1, it can greatly enhance the power of the pupil technique. What kind of broken system is it? Why is it all once and then gone after use? System, can you do it? Xiaomu complained in his heart, but the system was like a machine and continued to broadcast without any response. The host obtains the position of Deputy Chief of the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Deputy Chief, all Uchiha people recognize your identity as the Deputy Chief. Ouch. It seems that my false title of Deputy Clan Leader has been changed to a regular one. No, are you sure that Fugaku didn't just come up with the title of Deputy Clan Leader? Ding, the host has obtained the status of a Force Leader, and the Force template is loading. Ding. Development tasks. Break away from Konoha's control and become independent and self-reliant. Depending on the completion results, rewards will be given. Forget it, you can't change it, so let's use it first. Natsuki accepted the reality. A series of ding-dong sounds resounded in his mind. Xiaomu looked at the rewards and new tasks thoughtfully. The third Hokage promised that Shirsue's left eye would be brought to him as soon as Danzo returned. Natsuki turned his attention to Fugaku at this time, and Fugaku felt depressed. Why did I seem to be the one taking the blame? However, Fugaku was very cooperative when outsiders were present. Naruto's Strongest Force Chapter 5. In that case, I will wait for the good news in the clan territory. Before dawn, I want to see Shirsue's left eye. Fugaku snorted and waved his hand, telling all Uchiha to disperse. Many Uchiha looked angry and talked about it. They gathered the whole clan, and it ended with thunder and rain. However, due to the presence of many outsiders, the elites of various ninja clans were also watching. All the Uchiha just whispered and made no other moves, and followed Fugaku back. As the Uchiha's heavy door closed with a bang, the third Hokage finally breathed out. He waved his hands a little tiredly, thank you for your support. The village has lifted the state of emergency. Let everyone disperse. The major ninja clans looked at each other and saw something different in their eyes. They all said their goodbyes, not showing much respect for the third Hokage in their words. With swish. Aha. Aha. The other ninja clan members quickly left. The only people from the Hokage family were left on the scene. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't want to say anything else. Today's events completely disgraced the Hokage family and created a big rift between the village and the leadership of the Hokage family. Everyone was on guard against Danzo. Moreover, everyone knows that Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen were the same pants. Maybe what happened this time was ordered by Hiruzen Sarutobi. Everyone in the ninja world knows that Uchiha's Sharingan is a treasure, but no one dares to rub the tiger's beard on Uchiha's head. But he didn't expect that the senior officials of his village would covet his family's treasures. It was simply unbelievable. The third Hokage was also very tired. Danzo usually helps him with his dirty work. But what happened today was entirely Danzo's own decision and had nothing to do with him. Not only Danzo, but the entire Hokage family was disgraced, and their trust level reached its lowest point. The land of the Hyuga clan. Rizu, who had just returned to the family, quickly summoned the clan elders. Elders, something like this happened in Uchiha today. What do you think? Rizu, who was sitting on the main seat, looked at the elders. The clan elders all looked around. Then the great elder spoke first. Hizu, I think we need to be more careful against the Hokage family. The second elder also answered. The Hokage has long been dissatisfied with our system of dividing the Hyuga clan. This incident with Uchiha Shisui has also sounded the alarm for us. Because of the clan system of the Hyuga family, combatants are basically members of the clan. And because of the caged bird relationship, all branch families only take orders from the clan family. Therefore, the Hokage family has very little control over the Hyuga family. On the surface, they are all members of the Konoha family. But anyone with a discerning eye knows that if something happens, the Hyuga branch will only follow the orders of the clan. Hizu nodded. Danzo has been hiding behind Sarutobi Hiruzen all these years, and there are countless people developing secretly. But his ambition is getting bigger day by day. It's hard to say whether this incident was his own initiative or the third generation's instruction. The great elder said calmly, this is actually not important. What is important is that Uchiha's strong counterattack shows that Fugaku's thinking has changed. Maybe he has already turned to the Hawks. He is good at pushing out a microphone and not showing up himself. Deputy leader, that's interesting. The second elder took over. Tomorrow, Uchiha should fight for more rights. I think we should provide support. Hizu said, tomorrow, I will talk to Fugaku. Chapter 6: A Glimpse into the Future. After closing the door to the clan, Fugaku dismissed many aggrieved Uchihas. The senior officials were left behind, including the third elder Takuya, the fourth elder Hinata, Natsuki, Itachi, and Shisui, who was still lying on the stretcher. Unlike other aggrieved Uchiha, the third elder admired Fugaku's performance today to the extreme. He pushed Xiaomu up and acted like a fool, while he was strategizing behind the scenes. Although he is a hawk, he cannot be a brainless person who can sit in the position of elder. The one who was under siege just now was surrounded by Konoha elites. Shisui, the master of his clan, was seriously injured, so it was not the best time for a coup. At least, it would be appropriate to wait until Shisui recovers. Fugaku felt a headache when he saw Takuya, the third elder, with an admiring look on his face. Do you believe me when I say it was not arranged by me? Fugaku didn't pay much attention to the third elder. He wanted to make sure of one thing now. That is. Natsuki, have you activated the Mangekyo Sharingan? Several people were surprised. Natsuki turned on the kaleidoscope. Natsuki nodded, and the three Magatama in his eyes instantly turned into a triangular windmill. His pattern was different from everyone else's, it was a sword on the outside and a flower on the inside. The surging eye power made Fugaku feel depressed. How come? Fugaku couldn't hide his shock. Natsuki's talent is outstanding. At the age of 19, he is already an elite in the three Magatama Sharingan. Except for his poor illusion skills, he is good in all other aspects. Later, because of a bet, Xiaomu was asked to complete a difficult task, and promised to give you the position of acting elder after completing the task. Unexpectedly, Natsuki actually activated the Mangekyo Sharingan. Okay. Fugaku was so excited that he couldn't control himself. He also had the Mangekyo Sharingan. He knew how difficult it was to awaken to the Mangekyo. Over the years, he has been walking on thin ice, hiding the Mangekyo Sharingan very well, just to add a trump card to the family. Unexpectedly, among the new generation of young people, some people have awakened to kaleidoscope. Fugaku patted Natsuki on the shoulder excitedly. What I said before is true. You are the deputy clan leader now. In a few years, when you are familiar with government affairs, you will be the clan leader. Fugaku's excitement was not unreasonable. In the Third Ninja War, all the major ninja villages were reduced to a mess. Konoha sits on the most fertile land and has fought against Kumogakure, Iwagakure, and Kirigakure respectively. It has already lost troops and generals, and Uchiha has also lost a lot of talents. Now the family urgently needs such a young shadow-level powerhouse to take charge. Faced with the oppression of the Hokage family, Natsuki seems to be a very thoughtful person. The way Natsuki used him as a spear user before made Fugaku think that Natsuki had courage and strategy. You know, if you make the wrong mistake, the Uchiha clan may be wiped out due to civil strife. But Natsuki used Shirsue's matter to attack Danzo and stood on the side of justice. It not only made Danzo frustrated, but also caused the Hokage family to lose trust. Fugaku really liked Natsuki more and more. But he didn't know. The reason why Xiaomu acted like this was because he was sure that he would not be able to fight. Speaking of this matter in itself, if Shisue exposes it, then Uchiha is the victim, and it is impossible for other ninjas to add insult to injury. Furthermore, if a fight breaks out, then Fugaku, Shisue, Itachi, and themselves. A total of 4 pairs of Mangekyo Sharingan can completely sweep through all the major ninja clans who are working together. Seeing Fugaku looking so happy, Natsuki really wanted to complain. What's wrong with a pair of kaleidoscopes? You don't know that your son and Shisue are both kaleidoscopes. For the sake of your own life, you still have to do the task. Natsuki put away the kaleidoscope and cleared his throat. Then he said to everyone, now that I, Uchiha, am in a precarious state, since the clan leader thinks so highly of me, I will not refuse. I have some small ideas about the development of Uchiha. Several people suppressed the smiles in their eyes, wanting to hear what Xiaomu was going to say. First of all, let me talk about my awakened kaleidoscope eye technique. It's called a gap in the sky, where you can peek into the future. Xiaomu's words were like cold water pouring into a frying pan, causing the people below to widen their eyes as they peered into the future. Xiaomu opened his mouth and started talking nonsense. In fact, his kaleidoscope eye skills had not yet awakened. If we rebel tonight, our Uchiha clan will surely perish. The 2 elders suddenly changed their expressions. The 4th elder Yang Ping wanted to say something, but Natsuki stopped him. 4th elder, the peace you want is impossible to achieve, because in 10 years, the entire Konoha will be destroyed. What? Itachi, a cold-faced man, also opened his eyes wide. Deputy Chief, is what you said true? The 4th elder said dryly. Xiaomu nodded. 4th elder, 3rd elder, clan leader, don't resist, I will take you to see the world in the future. Xiaomu's kaleidoscope rotated rapidly, a ripple rolled, and several people seemed to have entered a painting. Various clips appeared in it, including scenes of Fugaku using the Sharingan to control the Kyuubi, but in the end the coup failed. There is a scene of the entire Uchiha clan being wiped out. There was a scene of a huge shock wave destroying the entire Konoha village. Natsuki selected some future scenes and played them to a few people. Natsuki's kaleidoscope is of course not a glimpse into the future, but Fugaku's pupil technique, illusion. This is my own conjecture and may not be true. But Natsuki knows the plot, so there is no problem in using this to pretend to be a future episode. There is nothing better than using this to gain the trust of others. Natsuki stopped the kaleidoscope. Although the picture was not much, the 3 of them were still very shocked. Is the clan leader also the Mangekyo Sharingan? Both elders looked at Fugaku, who nodded slightly. The reason why Shisue and Itachi were skipped was because the things Itachi did were not suitable for others to see. After all, Itachi doesn't have the idea of destroying the family yet. Seeing Fugaku and the 2 elders, he recovered from the illusion. Natsuki said, the 2 elders and the clan leader both want Uchiha to be strong, but the previous path was undoubtedly wrong. The 3 of them were silent. Judging from the scenes they saw, it seemed that the position of Hokage was not that important anymore. While several people were thinking, Natsuki turned to look at Shisue and Itachi. Shisue, you are really too naive, and your actions are simply stupid. Shisue opened his mouth, but was interrupted by Natsuki before he could speak. Itachi, how old is Sasuke? Itachi was a little confused, but he still lowered his head and replied, Sasuke is 5 years old, Deputy Chief. Y'all look at me. Naruto's Strongest Force Chapter 6. Itachi and Shisui raised their heads, and sure enough, Natsuki turned on his kaleidoscope. The two of them did not resist and instantly entered the painting. After Shisui's death, the entire Uchiha clan was wiped out by Itachi. Even Itachi's childhood sweetheart, Izumi, died on the night of the genocide. The village simply let Sasuke go his own way, occupying most of the family's property, and then Sasuke defected. Because of Itachi's death, his whole person became dark and twisted, and he wanted to avenge Itachi, and then died in the Five Shadows Conference. Natsuki deliberately only put it in the Five Shadows Conference, making Itachi and Shisui think that Sasuke died in the Five Shadows Conference. Seeing Itachi killing his parents and destroying the family, in the end, in exchange for Konoha's cold-blooded ruthlessness, Sasuke died and his family was wiped out. Shisui and Itachi both looked shocked and could not speak for a long time. After Itachi passed through Shisui, he was already very disappointed with the top management of Konoha. Now that he has seen scenes from the future, there is no pressure from Shisui's death. His mentality has completely shifted towards the family side. Only then did Shisui feel that he was so naive and ridiculous, that he was so cowardly that he committed suicide. Xiaomu watched the eye technique, illusion in his attribute column slowly disappear. Sure enough, it was gone after the number of times was used up. Natsuki said slowly, Uchiha is our family first, and a member of Konoha secondly. Without Uchiha, what does Konoha have to do with us? We have always wanted to be the Hokage. We just need recognition, but strong people don't need recognition. If our entire clan is wiped out, how can we still have the name of Uchiha? Several people chewed on Natsuki's words. Yes, all Uchiha were dead. Where did the glory of Uchiha come from? In the ninja world for so many years, there have been countless powerful ninja clans, but only one clan can be wiped out. No matter how powerful the reputation was back then, it will dissipate in the wind over time. Chapter 7 Plan. Itachi, I know you have been providing information to the third generation. Itachi was silent for a moment. I'm sorry. Your desire for peace is not wrong. It's just the wrong way. Itachi, there are many things that need to be dealt with in the clan. You should resign from your ANBU position immediately and return to the clan to help. Once you enter ANBU, you can't leave just because you want to. After all, Umbu would be exposed to many secrets. The Hokage disagreed, as Umbu's identity would not change easily. But Itachi has his heart set on the family now, and he can always find a way. Of course, even if Itachi doesn't leave his job, he will definitely not be trusted by the third generation. Itachi agreed. Fugaku was overjoyed beside him. When he was the leader of the clan, both Shisui and Itachi were distant from him. Fugaku also asked Itachi to go undercover in the ANBU, but unexpectedly, Itachi in turn provided information for the third generation. Fortunately, everything is going in a good direction now. Thanks to Natsuki. Fugaku had already begun to think about when he had given up his role as clan leader to Natsuki. Ding, the force template is loaded. Natsuki clicked on it and saw that the ones at the top were Uchiha Fugaku and himself. Below are the names and avatars of various members of the Uchiha clan. Natsuki clicked on Itachi's icon. Uchiha Itachi. Loyalty, high, good at, fighting, lurking. Click on the battle, and it also explains in detail the physical skills, ninjutsu, illusions, etc. Itachi is good at lurking, Needless to say this. Next to it is a separate row of Mangekyo Sharingan and related eye techniques. Natsuki clicked on Fugaku again. There is no loyalty here in Fugaku, but a level of intimacy, which is also high. The others are pretty much the same as Itachi. It's good now. I can know the specialties of everyone in the clan, so I can use them more conveniently in the future. I clicked on the pages of the two elders. In terms of their expertise, the fourth elder is in internal affairs and the third elder is in management. Xiaomu was very polite, the next plan depends a lot on these two elders. Both elders lowered their heads and said, Deputy Chief, you are too polite. Please feel free to give me your orders. At this time, Xiao Mu initially formed an idea in his mind. What is needed for the development of a family, funds, and other ninja clans have their own money-making businesses. Akimichi Yakiniku, Nara Pharmaceutical, maintenance of medical system. Except for Uchiha's weapons, which are self-sufficient in the cat country, Tenten's family has almost a monopoly on all Konoha's ninja tools. Other families also have businesses to make a living. Otherwise, just by doing tasks, they can only support themselves and forget about development. The Uchiha clan just didn't engage in production, and the assets they acquired during the Warring States period gradually dwindled. The reason is because of talents. Without suitable talents, there is naturally no way to do the corresponding work. Uchiha have been fighting madmen since ancient times, and no one studies these. It was possible to rob it during the Warring States period. Now that the 5 major countries are stable, if you try to rob it again, it will easily cause a war. In recent years, his income has dropped a lot. Although he is richer than ordinary ninjas, it is not easy to grow stronger. Now you can see a person's talent through your own power template. The road after that will be easy. Natsuki said solemnly, after awakening the kaleidoscope, I have watched many clips of the future. It will not take long for the entire Konoha to be stable. In the future, countless disasters will hit Konoha. So we must make plans early, and the clan's emotions also need to be expressed. We can no longer guard this place in the police force, because as law enforcers, we are definitely not popular. Both relaxing and tightening will not be popular, and will also increase the dissatisfaction of our Uchiha people. Fugaku tapped his hand, Natsuki, just say it boldly and we will cooperate fully. What Fugaku said was equivalent to completely delegating power to Natsuki. The other people didn't have any objections. After all, Xiao Mu was very powerful and shrewd. Natsuki pointed to his eyes. The fragments of the future I see through my kaleidoscope are not just about battles. There are also many successful businesses in the future. We just need to select some people now, vigorously develop the economy, and slowly get rid of Konoha's control. Oh. Several people here really didn't expect that it could be used like this in the future. If there are sufficient funds, the development of the clan can be completely self-sufficient and does not need to be controlled by Konoha. Judging from the disasters that followed Konoha village, it was important to have economic autonomy. Several people nodded in agreement. Xiao Mu continued, of course, this is a relatively long task. Fortunately, we still have some time. During this time, we need to give up all Uchiha's rights and make the Uchiha threat theory a piece of paper. Seeing that several people looked suspicious, Xiao Mu briefly introduced the meaning of threat theory. Everyone looked suddenly enlightened and admired Xiao Mu even more. This brain, don't say it, you really don't say it. Natsuki waved his hand, the current Konoha guard is no longer good for us. Our first step is to give up the rights of the guard. Fourth Elder, Danzo has suffered such a big loss. He will definitely cause trouble within the scope of the security team's duties tomorrow. You suspend all our Uchiha clan members who have been complained against and recall them to the family. If anyone comes to question you, just delay and delay. The fourth elder had already expressed his admiration for Xiao Mu. He patted his chest and said, don't worry, Deputy Chief, I am good at this. Third elder, you have always been committed to fighting for the position of Hokage by force. What do you want to say after seeing those future clips? The third elder smiled bitterly and shook his head. He was indeed committed to fighting for the position of Hokage by force. But in the future clip, we saw the fact that even if the Nine Tails was controlled with the Sharingan, the coup still failed. And the subsequent ninjutsu that destroyed the world, Super Shinra Tensei, I have already given up my mind. Since Konoha is afraid that we will gain power, then we can throw all the power away. Chief Fugaku, you must also resign as the Minister of Police at the appropriate time. We have offended too many people before for these powers, causing many people to completely forget the goodness of our Uchiha and take everything for granted. Now we're taking steps back to make progress. Third Elder, in the coming time, you need to gather all the dissatisfied radicals. The third elder frowned. Xiaomu, what do you think? Not everyone can bear this tone. For some Uchiha, it is simply impossible to retreat in order to advance. Therefore, the Hawk Uchiha was born. We Uchiha need a rebellion and a vital injury. Natsuki smiled sinisterly. Otherwise, how can we eliminate the Uchiha threat theory, and no one will go out to develop? The two elders and Fugaku looked at each other, but these people are not so easy to persuade. The three of them never knew that Shisui had activated the Mangekyo Sharingan and the Eye Technique Betsu Tenjin. By now, Natsuki had directly glanced at Shisui. Shisui understood, however, that Deputy Clan Natsuki was someone else who wanted to use him. Then he explained his ability to other gods to the clan leader and two elders. Another pair of kaleidoscopes. Both elders were numb. The Mangekyo Sharingan, which had not been produced for many years in the past, now actually produced two pairs at once. Fugaku's heart was filled with turmoil. Now there were 3 pairs of Mangekyo Sharingan in the clan. If he didn't want to get Konoha out of the tank, he would have a great chance of winning by directly rebelling. No wonder Danzo wanted to gouge Shisui's eyes. If Fugaku knew about his son at this time and Uchiha Itachi also turned on the kaleidoscope, I wonder if he would faint from joy. After the two elders go down, Natsuki asked, Itachi, Shisui's left eye should be here with you. Itachi responded, sure enough, nothing can be hidden from the deputy chief. He summoned the ninja crow and took out the bottle containing the Sharingan. Shisui, next we need to twist the Uchiha clan into one, so you have to get well as soon as possible. Yes. Shisui deeply feels the weight of his responsibility. Now that there was a way to save his family without conflict with the village, he had to do his best. Deputy Chief, I suspect that there are other people spying on us Uchiha. Natsuki nodded, you mean the person who is investigating the secret stone of the shrine, right? Itachi was stunned for a moment, but he didn't expect that the deputy chief already knew about it. This person will cause huge waves in the ninja world in the future, but I'm not sure about his current identity. He has visited the shrine's secret stone many times. I suspect that the words on the secret stone have been tampered with. Don't believe it. Xiaomu directly took the vaccination first. Naruto's Strongest Force Chapter 7. Yes, Deputy Chief, I understand. It was late at night. After the discussion, Itachi walked out and saw Uchiha Izumi on the bench next to him. Uchiha Izumi had already leaned on the chair and dozed off. Itachi remembered Izumi's death in the illusion. My heart twitched violently. Itachi stepped forward and patted Quan on the shoulder. What are you doing here? Quan raised his head in confusion. Itachi. Then he woke up. No. It's okay, I'm going back. Quan's cheeks turned red, and he stood up to leave in a panic. Quan. Itachi stopped Quan. Huh. Quan turned around, looking playful and cute under the dim light. Itachi was silent for a moment. Let's go eat 3-color meatballs tomorrow. Plop. Plop. Quan's heartbeat sounded a little obvious in the silent night. The sudden feeling of happiness made Quan's brain almost feel hot and smoking. Okay, okay. Quan covered his face and left as if running away. See you at the river tomorrow. When Itachi saw Quan walking away, a rare gentle smile appeared on his face. Chapter 8 Arrangement. Route Headquarters. Sir, Sandai sent someone to get Shisui's left eye. Danzo gritted his teeth and said, go to the collection room and get a Sharingan. Route member below, but we only have 4 Sharingan left. Danzo slapped the armrest heavily, don't you know, don't you know? The 3rd generation will not be able to get through without handing over a Sharingan. Yes. The more Danzo thought about it, the angrier he became. You bastard. What a shame. Danzo's face was gloomy, he had never been plotted like this before. I suffered such a big loss today, it was like stealing a chicken but losing a lot of rice. Unexpectedly, Fugaku, who has always been weak, unexpectedly used an elder to serve as a microphone, and even openly broke with the village for Shisui's Sharingan. You have to give them some eye drops no matter what. The sky was dim, and the 4th elder Uchiha Hinata, who had only rested for a few hours, arrived at the Konoha Police Department early. People from the police department come here every morning to report for their shifts. If something happens, a small meeting will be held. When I walked to his office, there was a pile of complaints in front of me. Most of them complained about Uchiha's violent law enforcement. And every time he handles it, he rotates it, moving the Uchiha member who has been complained to another part of the village. In this way, the complaint is resolved, and the Uchiha member complained against will not be punished. But today was different. He picked up the feedback stamp engraved with "suspension for reflection" and stamped it on the complaint form. For the sake of efficiency, the fourth elder also specially created several shadow clones to work together. Otherwise, the shadow clone is a magical skill. In a short time, all the complaint documents were processed. Yang Ping looked at it carefully and found out that according to the way he handled it, almost 80% of the members of the police force would be dismissed. They are all hawkish Uchiha. After all, they have stronger personalities and it is normal to offend others. And some doves were similarly removed from office. When everyone gathered, Yang Ping took a list and read, Yuta, Haruto, Naoto, Yao, Kei. All the people I just mentioned, because of the complaints, you have all been suspended for reflection. Before Yang Ping finished speaking, there was already a clamor below, fourth elder. Is there a mistake? We have been suspended. When Yang Ping glared, the people below immediately shut up. Idiot! What are you yelling about? You have other plans. Now all report to the deputy chief. Then he gave a special look to the people below. These people are all members of the Eagle clan, and they usually follow the three elders. After the incident last night where Natsuki forcefully wanted Shirsue's Sharingan back. These people all saw Xiao Mu's obvious hawkish style, and everyone knew it. So the fourth elder's look made everyone below think about it. Thinking that the deputy chief would do something, they all left without saying a word. After all the people from the Hawks left, the hall of the police department became empty in an instant. The rest are all Dove members who are close to him, or the kind of members who can't rely on both sides. Yang Ping arranged, the rest of you, the areas you patrol today will all be changed to the property of our Uchiha clan. If there is any situation elsewhere, you are not allowed to go there. Protecting our Uchiha property is the first priority, do you understand? Although the people below are all doves and relatively sensible Uchihas, they are usually criticized by many villagers. They were all happy to hear that they didn't have to patrol other places and only had to look after Uchiha's property. I enthusiastically assigned the patrol route and went out to patrol. As expected by the third generation, Uchiha Fugaku proposed to hold a high-level meeting in the morning. The people attending the meeting included three generations, Hyuga Hizashi, Uchiha Fugaku, and Uchiha Natsuki. Danzo was humiliated, but he retreated to his roots and did not come over. Seeing that Fugaku brought Natsuki here again today, several people secretly wondered, could Fugaku really be training this guy? Today, Fugaku became the same as before. He said respectfully to the third generation, Hokage-sama, please forgive me. I was also very anxious last night, so I took this step. The third representative looked kind and friendly on the surface, but there was a murmur in his heart. Shouldn't Fugaku come to charge today? Fugaku, you're too polite. It's impossible for any ninja to remain calm when something like this happens. Fugaku nodded and stepped aside, allowing Natsuki to stand up and speak. Natsuki's tone was calm today. My clan leader knows that there is a lot of friction between our police force and the villagers, which will be detrimental to the security of Konoha in the long run. Our clan leader has been committed to reforming the police force. Those members of the violent law enforcement team who have been complained by villagers have been suspended by the clan leader. Sandai agreed. What kind of medicine is being sold in this Uchiha gourd? How much will the Uchiha get if the villagers complain about violent law enforcement? Is there any Uchiha who has not been complained about? That proportion is probably not 80%. Are these all suspended? Natsuki continued, most of the Uchiha have been suspended. There are many positions in our security team. Today, we invited the head of the Hyuga clan here just to ask for help from the Hyuga clan and arrange some people into the security team to maintain its normal operation. What? The third generation and Rizu couldn't control the expressions on their faces at all, and both looked dull. You must know that the guard has always been the domain of Uchiha. 99% of the members are members of the Uchiha clan, and outsiders cannot get involved at all. This also resulted in the Uchiha clan's power tentacles being here. Fugaku's invitation to foreign aid to join the guard force would undoubtedly greatly reduce the control of the guard force. The influence on the entire village has decreased, which undoubtedly means that the position of the Hokage is getting further and further away. Could it be? Is Fugaku trying to express that he doesn't care about power in exchange for preferential treatment from the village? Or are the Uchiha and the Hyuga family collaborating? Sandai thought so, but was not sure yet. He said in an official tone, "Deputy Chief Natsuki, I am very pleased that you can start to consider the relationship between Uchiha and the village. I have no objection. You can have a good talk with Hizu." Rizu was not knocked unconscious by the pie falling from the sky. His first thought was that Fugaku had some conspiracy. But the meat was already in his mouth, and the Hinata family also wanted to try it out to see if it was bait or not. After all, the Hyuga family is declining day by day, and the power class in Konoha is also gradually declining. If I could gradually take control of the police force. Hayashi gave Fugaku and Natsuki a friendly smile. Natsuki also laughed. We Uchiha have enough thunder tops, now let's try your Hinatas. Chapter 9 The Happy Fourth Elder. Konoha 3rd Street, this is a bustling commercial street. Izakaya, restaurants, hot springs, and gambling houses are all available. However, disputes are prone to occur in crowded places, especially on commercial streets like this. Normally this street is patrolled by a small group of Uchiha guards. But I didn't see it today. At this time, a person fell out of the izakaya. This person smelled of alcohol, but he was a drunk. The owner of the izakaya stood up and said, "You dare to cause trouble after drinking a little wine, and you still want to eat a king's meal?" The drunk man burped, "What's so great, don't I owe you money for a drink? If you dare to be so arrogant without giving me money, hit me." The boss called 2 guys and beat the drunkard with fists and kicks. After beating for a long time, the drunk man gave up until his nose was bruised and his face was swollen. The drunk man was beaten until he was covered in bruises, and many people gathered around him to watch the fun. Usually whenever there is a fight, the security team will come quickly. Today, it is rare that there is no security team. It is a good show. It took the drunkard a while to get up from the ground. He was very angry when he saw so many villagers pointing at him. He cursed a few words bitterly, separated from the crowd and left. Seeing that there was no excitement to be seen, the crowd slowly dispersed. Unexpectedly, within 10 minutes, the drunk man left and returned again. There was also a pot in his hand, needless to say, it was wine again. But his expression was a little dull and his movements were mechanical. The drunkard took the wine and didn't drink it. Instead, he stuffed the mouth of the pot with a cloth, lit it, and smashed it against the door of the izakaya. With a bang, the flames followed the strong liquor and lit the door curtain of the izakaya on fire in a short time. The fire was originally very small. But in the shadow next to him, a member of the Roots wearing a mask and white clothes secretly formed a seal. Wind escape, a big breakthrough. He controlled the amount of chakra, opened his mouth and spit it out. A gust of wind blew along the flames. Naruto's Strongest Force Chapter 8. Because it was all a wooden structure, the fire took advantage of the wind, and the area suddenly became larger, and there was a sudden burst of chickens and dogs nearby. After burning for a while, a chunin passed by and used a water escape to put out the fire. In this short period of time, the door of the izakaya had been burned black, and the front door was completely burned down. Although there were no casualties, the izakaya will definitely be closed for a few days. The drunk man suddenly woke up after smashing the bottle, not knowing what had happened to him. But something happened, so I had to take advantage of the chaos and sneak away. The owner of the izakaya yelled angrily. Damn police force, I usually see them wandering around when nothing happens. Now when something happens, I can't find them. I'm going to file a complaint against him. The door of the izakaya was burned down, and the boss couldn't do business, so he quickly ran to the Konoha guard building. There were still many people passing by in the direction of the dormitory, but they all came out quickly and looked a little strange. The queue soon reached the izakaya owner's turn. He pushed the door open and saw Hinata, the fourth elder of Uchiha, sitting leisurely on his seat. Elder Yongping. I want to complain. Uchiha Yonghei took out the complaint form and put it in front of him. What do you want to complain about? The owner of the izakaya said, I want to complain that when security problems occur in my place, there are no members of the police to take care of it. Oh, where are you from? What's the name of the store? I'm at Chingshui Izakaya on Konoha 3rd Street. Let me take a look. Yongping took a stack of complaint forms and flipped through them. Found it. Hinata took out a complaint form. The security team you have there is the 9th Guard team, and the leaders are Uchiha Haruki, Ara, and Rikudo. They have been suspended, so you don't have a security team to manage security there for the time being. What? Why have you been suspended? The izakaya owner was dumbfounded. Why was there still an Uchiha suspended? I have to ask you this. A week ago, someone caused trouble in your izakaya. You beat the rioter, and the 9th Guard arrested you all. You complained to them about violent law enforcement. Have you forgotten? The owner of the izakaya suddenly remembered that there was an incident where he asked several guys to beat up the troublemaker, but the Uchiha guards came and stopped him directly. He felt angry, so he complained to those Uchiha people. Well, I think they are actually pretty good. Can I withdraw the report? The 4th elder, Yongping, waved his hand. How can that be done? Our deputy clan leader has issued new clan rules. All Uchiha tribesmen need to live in harmony with the villagers. Since we Uchiha tribesmen have made mistakes, it is appropriate to suspend our duties and reflect. The owner of the izakaya had a bitter taste in his mouth. When someone made trouble in the past, Uchiha would come so quickly, so why was he so mean? Then, when will the new security team be transferred? Elder Yongping comforted him, you don't have to worry about this at all. We will allocate manpower as soon as possible to complete the deployment of the guard team. After coming out of the Konoha guards, the izakaya owner always felt that something was wrong. Usually he feels refreshed after making a complaint. Today, when he went to the dormitory, he felt as if he had been punched in cotton. And there are needles hidden in the cotton. The owner of the izakaya left depressed. The 4th elder, Elder Yongping, felt refreshed after dealing with complaints for a day. He already vaguely understood the intention of the deputy clan leader in doing so. When he usually handles these complaints, he is often so angry that he loses half his life in a day's work. Today is different, I feel comfortable everywhere. Those people complained angrily and left in despair. The 4th elder couldn't help laughing. What is the Uchiha doing? Obito wore a mask and appeared in the Uchiha clan's territory. He watched what happened last night from beginning to end, but he didn't understand what the meaning of Fugaku's actions was. Just for the Sharingan of an ordinary clansman. Finally, he got his Sharingan back and suspended so many people from his police department. Is it to show favor to the 3rd Hokage? Did Fugaku turn to the Dove side? However, there are usually so many people in the clan. You need to be more careful next time you come. Let Kirigakure come over and take a look at the situation. Seeing that no useful information could be found, the space distorted and Obito left. Kirigakure. Ao has been ridiculed since he was scared off by Uchiha Shisui last time. Now the Great Elder has ordered Ao to explore Konoha again, and if there is a chance, he can capture the 9-tailed Jinchuriki. Now most of Konoha's Uchiha guards Uchiha have been replaced. Shisui was attacked by the village elder Danzo and lost his Sharingan. Although Danzo later withdrew his Sharingan, Shisui and the village should have completely broken off. The news about what happened in Konoha reached Kirigakure in a very short period of time. You must know that Kirigakure and Konoha span several villages and are still alone on the sea. The journey is extremely long. The people of Kirigakure are accustomed to such timely news, because this generation of great elders rose to the position because of their outstanding intelligence. People in Kirigakure believe that the great elder controls a secret force that specializes in exploring the ninja world, so the Great Elder has a high prestige. Qing received the order from the Great Elder and thought this was a good opportunity. He ordered all the team members and set off quickly. Chapter 10 Recognition. Danzo's root organization is stirring up trouble in the streets today. Or create conflicts and chaos, but there is still no Uchiha from the security team to deal with it. Those merchants who suffered losses went to the police building to lodge complaints. But in the end, the Uchiha clan seemed unmoved. The unified wording is that these people were suspended after complaints, and there are no redundant manpower. As for the Uchiha clan's own shop, there was no chance of causing trouble. Because several Uchiha police teams were milling around, turning a blind eye to the various conflicts that occurred on other streets facing the street. Many merchants even complained directly to Sandai. Sandai looked at the thick complaint sheet in front of him. He pinched his eyebrows. So, Uchiha suspended 80% of his team in one day. The ANBU below replied, yes, this morning Uchiha dealt with the personnel who had been complained before, and all of them were suspended for self-reflection. Now there is a shortage of police personnel, and various security incidents occur frequently in the streets outside. There is no one at all. Tube. What the is Natsuki doing, or rather, what the is Fugaka doing? The third generation couldn't figure out what Uchiha was doing now, and this kind of small security matter didn't seem like revenge on Konoha at all. After all, if things get serious, someone from ANBU will stop it. Moreover, Natsuki had already said hello in advance, contacted the Hinata family, and asked members of the Hinata family to take over. Sandai picked up his pipe and took a puff. How was the conversation between the Hinata family and Natsuki? Uchiha Natsuki handed over all the security routes and daily patrol routes to the Hinata family, and he did not hide any secrets. It's just that the Hinata family needs to fully deploy their manpower and familiarize themselves with the route, which will take a week. The Uchiha clan has always been in charge of the deployment and patrol routes of the police force, and it does take time for the Hyuga family to mobilize manpower. The third generation smoked his pipe, then the ANBU will send people to keep an eye on it this week. If something gets serious, you can take action directly. When the Hyuga family takes over, you can withdraw. Yes. Uchiha clan land, training ground. Since the fourth elder suspended most of the members of the police force, they have all been restrained in their own clan territory. Most members of the police force came to the training ground to practice spontaneously when they had nothing to do. Hey! Yang Shu. Uchiha Yang Shu, who was practicing shuriken, stopped, but it was his team members Aura and Rikudo. What's wrong? These two team members have worked with him for a long time and have a good personal relationship. They are considered friends. Aura smiled and said, you didn't go out and you didn't know that Chinshui Izakaya was burned down today. Yang Shu raised his eyebrows. That Izakaya on 3rd Street? Yes, he got into trouble with a drunkard again today. The drunkard refused to accept the beating and came back to burn down his front door. He has been unable to open his business these days. Lu Ren was a little gloating. No one stopped him. Yang Shu asked curiously. Aura shook his head, where is there anyone? From the 1st Street to the 7th Street next to us, all our Uchiha people have been suspended. Then they won't complain. Lu Ren laughed and said, sure, why don't you complain? But it's useless to complain. We don't have anyone in the police force now. Usually, those shopping mall bosses are very happy. They either accuse us of lax enforcement of the law or complain about our violent enforcement of the law. Today, our Uchiha stopped serving us and came here eagerly again. We are really cheap. I heard that the 4th elder was very happy today. He was humming songs while walking. Yang Shu also laughed when he heard this. We Uchiha usually suffer so much anger, we deserve those people. Aura asked, the 4th elder suspended us and didn't say we had any tasks. Yang Shu, do you know what the deputy chief wants us to do? Yang Shu shook his head, I don't know very well, but the deputy chief said that we worked hard in the police force and gave us a week's leave. There will be a mission for us in a week. Night falls. Uchiha Natsuki has been practicing at the clan's training ground. He has just obtained the Mangekyo Sharingan, which has given him a qualitative leap in ability. Whether it is insight, illusion, or physical skills, they have made great progress. But apart from activating Susanoo, his Mangekyo did not awaken the pupil skills. This made Xiaomu very confused, but Xiaomu was not in a hurry, since it was not needed now anyway. Xiaomu can clearly feel it, and his eye power is far better than the others. While practicing, I also checked in the power template to see who in the clan had business talent. However, most of the Uchiha ninjas are only good at fighting, and there are very few who have business and management talents. There is a young boy named Kai Ming Uchiha who is very bright. Although he did not open his Magatama until he was 17 years old, his other talents are very interesting: business, scientific research, and logistics. Moreover, Qiming is Xiaomu's former teammate. This kid is still very versatile, which I haven't noticed before and needs to be cultivated. In addition to Uchiha ninjas, ordinary villagers of the Uchiha clan are also included in the power template. Most of these ordinary villagers are doing small businesses in Konoha village. Some have some talent. Xiaomu remembered these people one by one, completing the last piece of the puzzle of his plan. Next to Natsuki were Uchihas practicing in groups of 2s and 3s. He could more or less hear everything going on outside. Naruto's Strongest Force Chapter 9. Tired from training, Xiaomu walked aside and sat down to drink water and rest. At this time, Fugaku happened to be listening to the reports of the third elder and the fourth elder. Clan leader, today I have taught the Hinata family the deployment configuration and patrol routes of our security team. It is estimated that it will take a week for the Hyuga family to deploy personnel to be fully on duty. Fugaku nodded. Did those people cause trouble when they came back? Fugaku asked. The third elder shook his head. No, those prickly heads practiced in the training ground after they came back today, or chatted in groups, and there was no trouble. The fourth elder took over. Of course they won't make trouble. Today they are all watching those people's jokes. What kind of joke? The third elder had been in the clan all day long and didn't pay much attention to the news from the outside world. The fourth elder said with a smile on his face, those merchants on the street. When we Uchiha were here before, we would come here to complain every day. It was either that the law enforcement was lax or too slow. The most common ones were violent law enforcement. Today, everyone came here to ask where the security team was. You don't know, they asked eagerly when we can send people over, with their expectant eyes. The fourth elder said, smacking his tongue and feeling very proud. Now that I think of our Uchiha, hey, we Uchiha are no longer in service. He now somewhat understood what Natsuki meant by doing this. The third elder also tasted something and looked at Fugaku. Fugaku nodded. I can also see that Natsuki is using this method to give the tribe a channel to vent. Natsuki said that this has just begun, and there will be more places that need Uchiha in the future. Uchiha is actually the most suitable person to be a guard, because Uchiha are basically all-rounders. He is capable of illusions and can instantly subdue troublemakers. He has an observation eye and can detect any problems in time. His physical skills are fierce and his movements are fast, and he can reach the scene quickly. But because of historical issues, the people of Konoha selectively ignored these. The Uchiha clan members have always wanted the villagers to recognize them. In fact, Uchiha never needs anyone's approval. Because strong people don't need recognition. Chapter 11 Hinata of the Guards. Just like Xiaomu thought. The security situation in Konoha these days is not very good. There are no major conflicts, and no one cares about minor frictions. Fortunately, the third generation ordered the ANBU to watch, otherwise there might have been a big mess. There are no more complaints from the security team, but people come every day to ask when manpower will be deployed, but Uchiha doesn't have manpower now. Helpless, those merchants had no choice but to report to the Hokage. Although not everyone can see Naruto. However, these villagers have lived in Konoha for a long time, and they are all related to each other. There are more people, and many opinions have been fed back to the third generation. The third generation had no choice but to try their best to urge the Hyuga family to take over. Under the urging of the third generation, the Hyuga family moved ahead 2 days. On the 6th day, the security team members from various places were finally in place. However, the team configuration is a little smaller than that of the Uchiha clan. The Hyuga family has Byakugan that can observe and Soft Fist that conceal chakra. They are also good members of the security team. Sure enough, as soon as the Hinata family took office, the public security environment improved instantly. The person in charge of the security team is Hyuga Hisashi, and the security team is all members of the Hyuga family. Hisashi learned the lesson of Uchiha, so all members of Hyuga's security team must enforce the law gently and not let the villagers complain. The Hyuga branch family has always been fighting on the front line, and they all have caged birds carved on their heads. Although he was born Hinata, he is not noble at all, but rather approachable. Therefore, most disputes among residents are mainly based on admonishment. When the residents saw that the noble Hyuga family was so easy to talk to, they all praised them. The Hinata family is indeed reliable. Much gentler than the Uchiha people. If you ask me, the Hinata family should have been made a security force a long time ago. Natsuki and Itachi were walking on the street. Itachi had resigned from the position of ANBU from the third generation. Natsuki plans to have more contact with Itachi. Itachi will be very powerful in the future, but his illness requires him to find a solution. Fugaku wanted Itachi to get closer to Natsuki, and Itachi also admired Natsuki's mind. They both wanted to see how the villagers would react after Uchiha gradually withdrew from the police force. Itachi, what do you think our tribe needs? Natsuki was talking to Itachi while observing the streets of Konoha. Konoha said it was a village, but the scale was too outrageous. Judging from the prosperity of the streets, the permanent population is at least hundreds of thousands. No wonder Uchiha was obsessed with seizing power before. It's a pity that the future changes in the ninja world cannot be changed by hundreds of thousands of ordinary people. After all, without high-end combat power, Konoha is already strong on the outside but weak on the inside. The high-pressure policy has always made the people of the Hokage family not trust the Uchiha family at all. Not to mention the position of Hokage, even the position of advisor elder was not given to Uchiha. No wonder Uchiha is so resentful. In the past, the more unwilling the Hokage family was to delegate power, the more tightly Uchiha tightened the guard. Moreover, during the Kyubi period, it was clearly an order from the top to keep Uchiha from participating in the battle. In the end, it became the reason for the villagers' suspicion. Regarding the direction of public opinion, it is difficult to tell whether people from the Hokage family are causing trouble. I just don't know whether this person is Danzo or the third generation. Itachi thought seriously, deputy leader, I think it's a sense of identity. Xiaomu waved his hand, just call me senior. Identity, how many Jounin do we Uchiha have? How many are there in Konoha? In Konoha, the total number of registered Jounin is only about 200. A Jounin can lead 3 to 5 teams of 4 in normal times, and even more in wartime, so the weight of a Jounin is particularly heavy. But in the guard force, a Jounin Uchiha is just a squad leader. There are more than 30 such Jounin captains in the guard team. We Uchiha have more Jounin than other ninja clans, but they are all concentrated in the guard corps. As long as Uchiha is in the police force, it is impossible for him to be recognized. He can only lose his spirit in the trivial things every day. We Uchiha are strong ourselves, do we need others to recognize us? Itachi nodded thoughtfully. I heard that the Hinata family are doing very well now and there are very few complaints. What do you think, senior? Itachi thought for a while and looked towards the street. Natsuki felt much more comfortable when he heard Itachi just changed his title to senpai. Fugaku gave him the position of deputy clan leader on a whim, which always made Natsuki feel weird. Xiaomu also followed his gaze and looked over. There were 2 members of the Hyuga family's security team over there, dealing with a dispute. After a while. Are there few complaints? The corners of his mouth curled up, the job of the police force is not that easy. Sure enough, the conflict there escalated. The voices of the 2 people being adjusted became louder. Who are you to interfere with my business? My wife is from the Mountain Clan. So what about the Yamanaka clan? My surname is Shimura, do you understand? I am a clan member of the consultant elder Shimura Danzo. The 2 Hyuga family members were caught in the middle. They were not human beings inside and outside, and they were not human beings even if they were caught. Sir, it's obvious that you were wrong first, and others were just forced to fight back. Hinata Ikawa explained patiently. After all, Hizashi had ordered not to arrest anyone unless the situation was particularly serious. You are just a member of the Hyuga branch, a housekeeper, and you still dare to interfere in my affairs here. The man was drunk and punched and kicked Hinata Ikawa, who controlled him, but the words he said were extremely heart-wrenching. Hinata Ikawa's expression suddenly changed. This was an insult. For the separated family, this was the most taboo. So he put his fingers together and directly touched the drunk man's body with both hands. The drunkard's acupuncture points were tapped, and he immediately fell to the ground, his face smashed on the ground, his nose bleeding violently, and he cried, "You are violently enforcing the law, I want to file a complaint against you." Hinata Ikawa's face was ashen as he watched the villagers next to him pointing at him. He quickly grabbed his teammates and took the drunken man away. Uchiha Itachi watched this scene from the side and felt that it seemed familiar. Because he often saw Jisue encounter this kind of thing, and Jisue always took the initiative to apologize and reconcile. As a result, some people in the clan were dissatisfied with Shisui. Most of the merchants here are related to major families. Every time there was a conflict, they would come out and threaten. Therefore, Uchiha is often caught in the middle and has difficulty being a human being. We can only make peace with each other, but many Uchiha are very emotional. It is impossible to be with ni. If you disagree, you will directly take action. Now that all these things have been left to the Hyuga family, it seems that the Hyuga family is not as good as us Uchiha. Itachi admired Natsuki even more. Natsuki smiled at Itachi's expression. Too many people in Uchiha have encountered this kind of thing, but Uchiha has never been used to these people. Because of Uchiha's arrogance, he never bothers to make excuses with you. He always enforces the law impartially, arresting and imprisoning those who should. Over the years, Uchiha has become accustomed to this kind of work process. And this is also the second generation Tobirama's plan. If you want to enforce the law impartially, you will inevitably offend the ninja clan. If you offend the ninja clan, you will naturally not be able to win the Hokage's vote of confidence. So Uchiha can't be Hokage at all. Otherwise, based on Fugaku's contribution in the Third Ninja War, let alone the Hokage, it would be impossible not to have an advisory elder. Chapter 12 White Eye's Visible Range. Although the areas patrolled by the police have been replaced by people. But the Hyuga clan's handling of these matters is obviously much worse than the Uchihas. At least Uchiha never cares about what background you have, he will arrest you if you need to, and you will lock you if you need to. The Hyuga branch family was severely suppressed by the Zong family, and their hands were tied to do things, so they were very busy and exhausted. And at this time, Natsuki found those civilians in the Uchiha clan who had business talents and set out quietly. Konoha is loose on the outside and tight on the inside. If you are a commoner who leaves the village, they will basically not interrogate you. There are still a large number of civilians in Uchiha who have no ninja talent, and many of them will never be able to open their eyes in their entire lives. Except for the fact that his last name is Uchiha, he is no different from ordinary people. Naruto's Strongest Force Chapter 10. Xiaomu was a caterer in her previous life, and these days she has been writing some food recipes and planning projects. These delicacies should not exist in this world. Outside the Konoha barrier, Ao led 7 Kirigakure elites and were quickly approaching Konoha. Roll your eyes. Ao's right eye had bulging blood vessels. During his investigation, it turned out that Konoha's security team was not from the Uchiha clan, but the Hyuga clan. It seems that the Uchiha clan is at odds with Konoha. Our chance has come. Let's go. Ao was ecstatic in his heart. Although the Hyuga family was also a member of the Pupil clan, the threat was much smaller than that of the Uchiha clan. The visual distance of the white eyes is related to the purity, exercise and strength of the eyes. After Chin got the Byakugan, he exercised day and night. In addition, the Zong family's Byakugan was of high purity and could see very far away. And Qing knows from long-term use that if you observe a 360-degree range, the visual distance will be closer. If you look in one direction, the viewing distance will be very far. People's attention is generally placed at 180 degrees in front of them. The observation habit will also be to use the white eyes to look farther in front. Although one of his white eyes has a smaller range. But the visual distance is further than these people are trained to do. As long as the patrolling Hyuga clan members didn't use their white eyes to look at the direction behind them before he approached, they'll have a chance. You guys follow my footsteps, there are Hinata people patrolling ahead. Yes. Master Qing. Roll your eyes. Unable to use ninjutsu, Ao kept leading the Kirigakure team around. Hinata Morisuke was patrolling with his teammates, rolling his eyes every once in a while. Everything was normal and nothing unusual in the distance. What he didn't know was that a group of people was surrounding him behind him. When he turned his body, Kirigakure also turned his body. Although Ao didn't know why this Hinata didn't just look behind him with his Byakugan. But when Morisuke turned his body, he knew his attention was on the front. As they got closer, Kirigakure's men quickly moved forward. The important thing is to reach the attack range before Byakugan can observe the sides and rear. Hinata Morisuke's expression tightened. Careful. From behind Hinata Morisuke, the light of the sword struck. The target is Kobayashi Yusuke. Bah! Morisuke took a step slower, and when Ro-Fist stepped forward, Kobayashi Yusuke had already fallen down, clutching his neck, hateful. A ninja appears out of the fog with a large sword and bandages on his face and neck. It's Zabuza. Silent killing technique. Hinata Morisuke now opened his Byakugan again for full field of view observation. I found several chakra reactions in the surrounding fog. He pounced on his team fiercely. The remaining two Chunin fell into a pool of blood before they had time to fire the signal flares. The remaining people appeared, all dressed as Kirigakure assassination troops. The leader was Ao with an eye patch on his right eye. I didn't expect it was you. How dare you come to Konoha to act wild? Hinata Morisuke took a soft fist stance, but his heart sank to the bottom. Ao received a Byakugan during the Third Ninja War, and this person was regarded as a life-and-death enemy by the Hyuga family. He was on Konoha's wanted poster. Not so easy to deal with. Ao stepped on the branch. It's a pity that he is a member of the Hyuga branch, otherwise he would have received a pair of supercilious looks. Hinata Morisuke was speechless. How could the clan come to patrol the outskirts of Konoha? He saw that the 8 fog ninjas surrounding him were all jounin based on their chakra levels. The one with the lowest amount of chakra is Zabuza. It seems that he will inevitably die today. Hinata Morisuke assumed a soft fist stance. Zabuza's muffled voice came from the bandage, let me try his quality. Qing nodded, hurry up. Hinata Morisuke was so angry that he actually tried it on himself. Zabuza activated the silent killing technique and disappeared into the mist again. Unfortunately, Hinata Morisuke had already opened his Byakugan and kept his eyes locked on Zabuza. Seeing that he couldn't take advantage, Zabuza rushed towards Morisuke with his sword in hand. Hinata Morisuke's soft fist foundation was solid, and Zabu's slashing skills were fierce, and the two soon started fighting fiercely. As a tradition of the Hyuga family, Morisuke was used to setting up his stance and then attacking others later. He responded calmly to Zabuza's powerful attacks. Zabuza seems to be very confident in his sword skills and is not afraid of physical combat at all. He swung his sword and fought with Morisuke. Zabuza is now somewhat famous, although he has not yet been promoted to the 7 ninja swordsmen. But he is also one of the best among his peers in Kirigakure, and his training in taijutsu is also quite advanced. It's a pity that he met the Hyuga family who restrained him. Hinata Morisuke had several chances to kill Zabuza, but he held back. He clearly knew his responsibilities. He needed to spread the intelligence alert, otherwise the Hyuga clan had finally entered the Japanese guard force and could not be severely criticized for his mistakes. The bodies of the two people fighting moved quickly, and finally they reached a corner. Hyuga Morisuke found a breakthrough and slapped the side of Zabu Zanto with his palm. Bounce. There was a sound of teeth grinding. Zabuza didn't expect the other party to use such great strength, and the knife flew out directly. Hinata Morisuke dragged his severed hand back and took out the warning fireworks from his pocket. Don't even think about it. Several Kirigakure were already rushing around, but at this moment, several shurikens instantly blocked Hyuga Morisuke's movement. But Hyuga Morisuke hit him in the opposite direction. He hit the shuriken with his own flesh and blood. The warning fireworks in his hand were also fired with a bang. Kirigakure, who was approaching at this time, kicked Hinata Morisuke on the waist, and kicked him to the ground and rolled several times. Hinata Morisuke's mouth was bleeding, and the previous shurikens were inserted into his chest, neck and head. In a short period of time, Hinata Morisuke died. The caged bird on his forehead also shimmered, and the white eyes seemed to have lost their color and were sealed. In the nearby forest, an emergency signal was quickly received. Several signal bombs exploded in the sky. Ao looked at Hinata Morisuke with hatred, and then glared at Zabuza. Nothing can be done. Withdraw. Several people quickly left the scene. There was a rapid flying sound, and 3 Umbu jumped into the field. Among them was the one wearing a fox mask, a silver broom head, and a knife behind his back, none other than Hatake Kakashi. After Kakashi came down, he quickly lifted up his forehead protector to reveal his Sharingan. After briefly exploring the surroundings, he gestured to the other 2 colleagues. The other 2 Umbu quickly checked the bodies of several people. Said to Kakashi, Taijutsu, thick fog. Knife wounds, assassination techniques, Kirigakure's chances are high. Kakashi nodded. Now that the people have retreated, it is not ruled out that they will come back again. I will report to the 3rd generation now. Since the 3rd Ninja War, Kirigakure has been sending people to Konoha to cause trouble, but they were all repulsed by Uchiha before. Unexpectedly, for Konoha ninjas died here this time, and among them was the Hyuga family with the strongest investigative power. Now we are in big trouble. Chapter 13 Lack of Manpower. Hokage's Office. After listening to Kakashi's report, the 3rd generation frowned and said, Go and invite Hisashi over. It's simply unbelievable that Byakugan, who has the strongest detective power, was unexpectedly attacked. In the past, Uchiha was responsible for guarding the outer areas of Konoha, and they had never suffered such a big loss. Unexpectedly, as soon as Hinata was replaced, Kirigakure came over. Fortunately, the warning fireworks were set off, otherwise this group of Kirigakure would sneak into the village and the consequences would be disastrous. After Kakashi went down, with the sound of crutches hitting the ground. Hiruzen, I have long said that Konoha's defense is the top priority. These wealthy families are simply unreliable. My roots should be allowed to join the guard force. The person who came was none other than Shimura Danzo, who had been deprived of his position. The 3rd Hokage was not surprised to see Danzo. After all, even if Danzo was deprived of his position as assistant to the Hokage, he was still an advisory elder. Hokage assistant is just a name to him. After all, the 3rd Hokage has many things that are not convenient for him to do himself, so he still needs to rely on Danzo. The 3rd Hokage picked up his pipe and took a puff. Danzo, you must be responsible for the recent security problems. Humph, I don't know what you are talking about. Now the Uchiha have completely withdrawn from the police force, and the remaining few Uchiha clan members are only guarding their own shops. Please give me a break. Danzo did make trouble for 2 days, but later found out that Uchiha didn't accept the move at all, and what he did became a joke. Danzo did not take up the topic, but continued with his previous proposal. Every one of them is loyal, so they are very suitable for joining the police force. The 3rd Hokage knew clearly what Danzo had planned, and waved his hand in annoyance.